Good afternoon and welcome to National Garden Club's Membership Monday, where we learn, grow, connect all of our membership together so that we can serve the National Garden Club objectives in our local area and across the country as we plant America and play outdoors. I'm Trish Bender, your National Garden Club membership chairman, along with our membership team of 9. And we are thrilled to be providing you this new series, the 2023 series, People, Plants, and Programs. This is a 4-part series where we are going to be taking a deep dive into the National Garden Club's Schools program. This is an educational opportunity for all of our members and the general public to learn more about 4 key areas that we all know and love. Now, the reason that we chose this particular program is because so many of you have asked us, what are the NGC schools? Why are they important? What do I learn? What can I do with the knowledge that I acquire? So here to give you a general overview of what the NGC schools are and why we do them is our NGC Schools and Policies Chairman, Pat Rupiper. Pat, what are NGC schools?
They're a series of 4 different types of schools: environmental school, flower show school, gardening school, and landscape design school. Each of the schools address some aspect of your own life, home, place where you live, community, so on and so forth. Each school has a preset criteria that must be met. Our schools, the 3 that I'm in charge of policy and procedure for, they provide in-depth scientific knowledge to help us make decisions in our everyday life. That knowledge combines with the knowledge learned by attending all the other offered schools. So they all work together, and there's always paperwork involved, and you have to be proactive to accomplish it correctly. The classes are certainly open to everyone. Each has a fee determined within the state that it is presented at. The state or presenting organization decides the manner in which the school is run, whether it's virtual, in person in a classroom, or a blend, which we call hybrid. I suggest that you show the Membership Monday school videos to your garden club.
Thank you. So let's talk about gardening school. And here to tell us all about what gardening school is and how you can best learn from it is the gardening school chairman, Charles McClendon in North Carolina.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Charles McClendon. I'm the National Gardening School chairman, and I want to talk to you about why gardening school. Gardening school consists of a series of 4 courses scheduled over 2 days, instructions, followed by exam for those interested in becoming an NGC Accredited Gardening Consultant. Courses cover all aspects of horticulture, gardening, understanding soil structure, pruning techniques, identifying plants. Topics include basic botany, soils, annuals, perennials, trees, shrubs, fruits, vegetables, and lawns, pests, plant diseases, plant classifications, selected subjects of local interest. Additional topics may include reconciliation of ecology, creating backyard habitats to help endangered species such as pollinators and amphibians, as well as working with our youth. Since 1977, National Garden Clubs has been promoting and educating members and non-members through gardening schools, formerly called garden study schools. This is 46 years. Gardening school has 4 courses, 18 topics, have field trip and supplemental subjects. Each course 1, you will see that you have botany, soils, techniques for growing outdoor flowers and flower propagation. Course 2 consists of plant diseases, garden pests, irrigation and water and lawn, alternates and growing grass, growing fruits and growing vegetables. Course 3, factors that influence plant growth, new plant development, evaluation, container gardening, outdoor house plants, the native trees and shrubs, and teaching tours of botanical gardens. Course 4 is plant classification and horticulture, outdoor ID of plants, specialized garden styles, and techniques of growing woody, ornamental, and pruning techniques. You discover the many gardening school projects that promote sustainable garden and ecological practices, and they come from water, global, organic, and nature. Soil management and crop rotation and educating the public is part of what we do. It's part of what you learn. Studying garden practice since ancient times, including Thomas Jefferson and practices he began at Monticello, still used today by gardeners. Garden designs for aesthetics or soil analysis. I want to speak just a second on soil analysis because this is one that most people overlook all the time. You know, if you're sick and you go to the doctor, they do blood work, and that blood work analysis tells the doctor pretty much what you need. It's the same thing with soil. When they do soil analysis, you do a soil sample, you send it off, they analyze it, you get a computerized report back that will tell you what you need. Most of the time, it'll be a pH problem. And most of the time, you can do this at your local extension offices where you can send samples out. Okay, make sure that you know what your hardiness zones is, because most all the box stores, they sell pretty much anything that will sell, and a lot of it may not grow in your area. Be sure that you plant native plants for our pollinators, because that's what's going to have all of us survival. Plant diseases and pest control. You will learn about how to use best practices. Do your research. Use IPM, Integrated Pest Management, and check with your local extension services. Make sure you use organic if you possibly can, and always follow directions. Benefits of garden therapy and meditation and ways to engage these practices. Gardening therapy is proven that there's mental health benefits. It reduces depression. It reduces stress. We could all use that. It reduces anxiety. You just got a better quality of life. You know, you can do this by sharing with friends, neighbors. You can also go to assisted living homes, veterans, hospitals, your community, and sharing. And that's when you really feel good about it. Demonstration in the gardens for youth and adults. This one is touchy heart, but this is so important for the future of our gardening, ecology, and everything else. You know, gardening reminds us that change and renewal are possible. And we need to do this for our youth, our children, educate everywhere we possibly can, because we don't do it, who's going to do it? And our instructors are subject matter experts. You know, they could be college professors, they could be hort agents, botanists, environmentalists, horticulturists. All of these are people that subject matter expert in their field. And at this time, I want to talk to you about how to have a school. If you decide you want to have a school in your local area, you go to gardenclub.org. This will take you to the NGC website homepage. You click on schools, and then you go down to gardening schools. You scroll down to see school resources. You click on the resources, and it'll take you to schools, forms, and resources. And once you do that, scroll down to NGC handbook. This handbook is for all schools. And once you click on download, go to the table of contents, section 3, procedures for local and state chairmen. This is what you need to read, and it gives you the information you need about what you need to do to have a school. Now, the local state chairman that's sponsoring the NGC school, you know, it's their choice how they want to do it. You know, you can do it like we said a while ago, in person. You can do it by Zoom. You can do hybrid, where the attendees or professors might be in person or Zoom. We have a proven system in place that works. NGC has an awesome tech team that's ready to assist you with whatever your needs might be. NGC has seasoned accredited chairman that's ready to help guide you with the process. And then NGC Gardening School chairman is there for you. And, you know, you are our customers, and we're ready to serve you. And let us help you. And I hope to see you at one of our gardening schools real soon. We have 5 gardening schools right now currently on the website, and there's more that's going to be there soon.
So that means that there are currently 5 courses that are being offered at this time
That's
in
right.
different locations?
Different locations, yes.
And how many gardening school instructors would you say that we have nationwide?
Well, we've got a list we put together. I know Barbara did a lot of work on it.
Mhm.
We've probably got at least, I'd say 10 to 15 is, really committed. A lot of people won't do Zoom, but, we do have committed instructors that we can certainly help anybody that needs. We have a list of instructors is available to teach.
And many times you get instructors that are subject matter experts for that local area that may not be part of NGC, but they're local botanists and experts, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
A lot of college professors, do that.
Okay. So when someone is going to choose to put on a school, they have three options, correct? They can do it, as you said, in person. They could do it via Zoom, or they could do a hybrid where they're either the student or the instructor is Zooming in.
That's correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is really helpful information. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Charles for the many years of his service as to the gardening school and to NGC in general. Charles is an excellent resource for anyone that is interested in participating in gardening school as both a student, an instructor, or a facilitator. So thank you, Charles, and please stand by because I know we'll have a lot of questions at the end. When it comes to putting on a school, one of the biggest questions we have, is it worth doing virtually? And how do you make that decision between a virtual school or going in person? And here to talk about that is one of our success stories coming out of Washington State, and that is Bryn Tavas. So Bryn, you were a student with NGC's Gardening School. Did you find that the Zoom Gardening School was an effective alternative to in-person?
I am a satisfied customer of NGC schools. I've participated in several Zoom gardening schools and found them beneficial in many ways. One of the first Zoom schools hosted in Washington State allowed garden club members to continue their studies from the many comforts of their home during a difficult and isolating time. This convenience has proven to be a welcome option to many consultants in NGC garden clubs for even more reasons than originally considered.
Have you spoken to other students and gotten feedback from the other attendees about what they appreciated most about the Zoom format?
Yes, they talk a lot about how much they enjoyed many aspects of the Zoom courses. There is less expense for the attendee as well as the hosting committee. It's a unique opportunity to enjoy the company of new friends in other areas of the country. There's a greater variety of ideas exchanged between participants, organizers, and even the instructors. I know that I especially enjoy observing the friendly interactions between the chairman and the hosts of the schools. You are witness to the friendships that evolve through developing the subject matter for the courses.
Have you seen an increase in member satisfaction or even member numbers because you were attending and offering these schools?
Yes, all of these positives point and all translate to an increase in overall attendance for credit, to refresh, or just to revisit a topic that you are particularly interested in. Besides being able to continue our school in Washington that otherwise would have been postponed, we were also able to include students and refreshing consultants from other states to continue their education. I believe that NGC took a challenge for everyone across the country, and turned it into a networking plus. The fundamental desire to learn and share ideas about our love of gardening opened a door to meeting the needs of our members, a necessary function of a gardening organization.
Bryn, I can't thank you enough. And I think that one of the things that I hear coming through loud and clear is that you really appreciated a garden club organization putting gardening at its focus and providing that
Absolutely.
opportunity as widely as possible, correct?
Yes, giving us options and the opportunity to meet with others virtually was such a saving thing during that hard time.
Right. Particularly during the last 2 years when a lot of members couldn't travel. But now that we are more open again and able to travel, you would still recommend a Zoom class?
Yeah, there you can find many more scheduled because you don't have to travel.
And it is less expensive, as you said.
Yeah, for both sides of the equation, less expensive.
Right. So thank you, Bryn. I really appreciate you weighing in on that. So Bryn mentioned a term that you may not be familiar with, and that is a gardening consultant. So our next guest, Debbie Harrington, is a gardening consultant. And I want to ask Debbie, what does it actually mean to be a gardening consultant?
For me, it's been a real fun thing to be able to have some validity to go to someone's yard when asked, or to consult with them on plants that they might be wanting to put in. I have been an active gardener since my 20s, but I didn't begin doing any of NGC schools until my 50s. And my first two were environmental and flower show school. Our school, or my state, did not have gardening schools or landscape design. So I took those out of state, and I took those in person, but I've done, as Bryn has also, some of the Zoom courses, and you just gain so much. And the thing about being a gardening consultant or helping people in your community, it does make me feel like I have a little bit of knowledge other than hands-on. I've got the book knowledge to go and share with people. And both through presenting programs, helping them in their own yards. I do write papers for various things. And I've been active in children's clubs at the high school and the mid-school levels. And it really is helpful. I think that for me to be able to do either type of course, whether it's in person or Zoom, it's important that we always keep learning. None of us want to stagnate. For gardening especially, the tools, the products, the methods are constantly changing. Years ago, you had to rototill. Now they're saying don't rototill for the most part, unless you're doing a farm. So for me, it's been a joy to be able to meet a lot of people. We've been able to bring other people into the NGC organization into our clubs from consulting. And I've been able to start schools in my own state now for gardening.
So would you say that people that now know that you are a gardening consultant trust that you have some knowledge to back up the answers that you give them when they approach you?
Yes, and if it's a particular topic that they ask me about that I don't feel comfortable with, I will tell them, I'm not an expert in this. Let me see if I can find someone else that can help you. And that may be another consultant in another state. It may be a master gardener locally, or one of our county extension people. But yes, it definitely gives me validity, and I think gives them confidence to know that they're asking someone that's had some learning courses.
Right. It's not just someone that's done it and had a little bit of experience personally.
Right.
Someone that's had some education to back up this information that they're giving them. And you alluded to a network of consultants that you have available to you.
Yes. I'm on the NGC board, but even prior to being on that, I had a lot of gardening friends in a lot of states, and have way more than I used to because of NGC. I did the majority of my schools in Florida because my daughter was living there. And that enabled me to reach out to consultants there to help her with her gardening. She was relatively new to gardening. She now lives in California, and the same thing, I have friends in California, and if she has a question that I don't understand or a plant I don't know, I reach out to one of them. So I really think it's important that we do network across NGC, and also with master gardeners. They have a ton of knowledge that and experience maybe a little more because they have to do all their volunteer hours and stuff.
Well, that's really helpful. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
So let's hear now from the former National Garden Club Schools Chairman, Barbara Hatzel. Barbara, we talked just a minute ago about consultants. What can you do as a consultant, and why would you encourage someone to become a consultant?
Well, first of all, I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining us. There are any number of activities that NGC gardening consultants can do. Of course, their own landscapes benefit from the knowledge gained. In addition, gardening consultants can offer to do programs for their clubs, write horticultural columns, as Debbie mentioned, for their club, district, and state newsletters, start and support youth gardening through school programs and aftercare programs. And I'd like to speak specifically, I'm here in Florida, and in my club, our gardening consultants and their assistants have a weekly 1-hour meeting for 22 kindergarten, 1st through 3rd grade junior gardeners in the city's aftercare program. The children are taught to plant, harvest, and eat fresh vegetables and herbs and create relevant crafts that they take home. It's a really wonderful program. Gardening consultants at our last local series, our district sponsored the school, and the consultants voted to set up a district matching grant program with the leftover unspent registration fees, and the local clubs can then apply for this matching grant of up to $100 for any native plantings for wildlife that they do.
Nice.
Very nice. And let's also look at Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, there is a gardening council that consultants can join that has a special speaker fund where the income is derived from monies left after the school expenses are paid. This speaker fund provides the monies to pay for special speakers at their Morning of Horticulture program, which is open to both consultants and all the club members in the state of Massachusetts. And once in a 2-year term, the fund also pays for a speaker at a state meeting. The parameters of who can attend in your state at this type of event could be expanded to include the public. And the program would certainly promote creating more wildlife corridors that Doug Tallamy speaks about so eloquently. Gardening consultants also give back by designing plantings for pollinators for libraries, public parks, school gardens, and Habitat for Humanity home landscapes. We would definitely welcome them to serve as local gardening school chairmen. And we find that these gardening consultant activities, as mentioned before, are a major benefit in attracting more women and men to join a garden club.
I couldn't agree with you more. And then for those that are in the audience saying, oh my God, I'm a consultant now, I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of work. None of this is a requirement of becoming a consultant, right? This is just one of those things that naturally happens when you become a consultant. You want to share your knowledge. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, but you're not required to do anything but benefit personally.
That's true. And the way the gardening courses are designed, I'm finding even in the current course that's running in West Palm Beach, and we have 2 people there, actually 3, that are not in a garden club. And they're now saying, boy, how am I going to use all this great knowledge? Is there a garden club locally I can join so I can do this? So right. It's infectious.
And based on what you just said, you would also strongly encourage anyone that is going to attend a school to bring some neighbor or friend, yes, whether they're in a garden club or not, correct?
Absolutely.
Because everybody can benefit from this knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Barbara, one of the biggest questions we get is, what is the difference between a gardening consultant and a master gardener? Can you answer that for us?
I sure will. As many of you know, a master gardener courses are offered by state and county extension offices. The program gives excellent in-depth training to students over an extended period of time. Here in my county, which is Palm Beach County, the program requires attendance all day Wednesday for 2.5 months, passing an extensive exam, plus giving a number of volunteer hours that are reviewed and approved by the extension agent. And to remain in good standing, a master gardener must do a minimum of 35 volunteer hours a year and get 10 educational credits, also on an annual basis. Now, since not all of us can meet that criteria, but still have a love of gardening and look forward to updates on new plants and gardening practices, the NGC Gardening School really fills those needs. As you know, refreshing is only required every 5 years and is offered at a number of educational NGC Gardening School courses and refreshers. And NGC clubs all over the United States are partnering successfully with master gardeners for educational programs and a variety of gardening activities. And I'd like you to listen to this as my closing statement. One of our members, who is a master gardener, active, and an NGC gardening consultant, this is what she said, quote, "I gleaned a lot from the NGC gardening courses. To have the opportunity to experience continuing education in an area of interest that you can choose is a gift. For me, it is also quite incredible to have a relatively short learning session from instructors who have spent a large portion of their lives becoming experts in their fields."
Excellent. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
And thank you to all of our speakers. You have heard today all of the things that you need to decide whether you want to attend a gardening school in your area, whether you want to choose an in-person, a virtual online school, or a hybrid of each, and all the things that you need to consider to host a school in your area. For more information about all of these topics, go to gardenclub.org. Thank you for joining us, and happy gardening, y'all. This has been a production of the National Garden Club, Incorporated.